Robbie, we've got about 4,000 plus anglers out here. We've got 400 boats participating, and they have caught a ton of fish already. This tournament was started in 1974. This is the 50-year anniversary. I love the name of that boat, Trash Man, and he is cleaning up, Robbie. I didn't even, that wasn't even planned. And we've got Finn Planner in second. They've caught 9 white marlin. They're doing some damage on the white marlin. And in third is Maverick with 7, and that's my son's name. So I'm kind of rooting for those guys. I like that name.
Numbers of whites, we're seeing numbers of sales. I still can't believe, though, and I believe Kurt Von Seekum, one of the guys we've been watching through the year, catching fish as well. But again, it's the Sport Fishing Championship, our stop number 11 of 12. We will be crowning a sport fishing champion for the offshore side of things in a couple of weeks' time in San Juan, Puerto Rico at the International Billfish Tournament. Peter, we've worked our way from everywhere from Grand Isle, Louisiana, St. Augustine, Florida, Orange Beach. Now we come here to the White Marlin Open, where they've been doing it for 49 years. This is the 50th year, and this is the place to be. If you're in the world of sport fishing, you have to at least fish here. You have to come and visit, and so much money is up for grabs. It's unbelievable, over $10 million.
$10.5 million, and that's nothing to sneeze at, Robbie. I say that quite a bit lately, but these guys are competing. I mean, if you catch the heaviest wahoo, you might win $2 million. You catch the heaviest white marlin, you may possibly win $5 million. It's unbelievable, the money at stake here. There's a single bet, winner take all, $50,000 per boat. That's why the numbers are jamming.
Something different here. We've seen that we've had a white marlin tournament as well in the San Domingo white marlin tournament. We've got Atlantic teams fishing in Polarizer. Robinson said, I'm making my way down. He's been in Florida since we've seen him last. He's here for the big bucks.
Yeah, he and his son Greg have been putting on a bit of a clinic along with their captain Kurt Von Seekum Jr. They've got 3 second-place finishes, and they have 2 whites so far.
For this big purse.
Wants a part of this tournament. That's why there's 400 boats in this tournament.
Look at that white marlin. Again, every white marlin you catch, Kurt Von Seekum Jr., 125 points with that catch. With them focusing on the white marlins, because that's the big payday. Now, if you're catch and release, the blues, I think, gets more points than the whites. But really, this is a white marlin tournament. I mean, it's in the name.
Exactly, Robbie. It goes to their name. I mean, we have White Marlin Open. You want to catch a big white marlin. The biggest white marlin on record in this tournament is 99 pounds. We always talk about the size of these whites. They're not very big, but I'll tell you what, they can fight like nothing else out there.
Again, a lot of teams out there in search for their $10.3 million share, 400 teams or more.
We're at day 1 of the 50th anniversary White Marlin Open, the world's richest tournament for white marlins. There's 400 boats competing today. It's worth over $10 million. There's a lot of categories. This morning we already caught a tuna fish. Probably won't qualify, but we just released the white marlin. We're feeling really good about where we are. We fished up here the other day and did really well. So, good luck to all the teams, but keep rooting for Team Polarizer. Thank you very much.
We've seen George, we've seen Greg catch some fish with that boat. It really doesn't make a difference who catches it, because that boat, that team is eligible for the big money.
That's right, and they're not very far from their home. They're working this Atlantic coast. and they're doing really well. You know, something about a team that sticks together for many, many years. They have like a symbiosis where they just feed off each other, and they catch a lot of fish, and they have a great ratio.
Yeah, what we were talking earlier before we started with Jim Motzko, and he was listing off the canyons that these guys are going to be running to. They're restricted to a 100-mile circle, but these canyons they're going to, very similar. We've heard these names before. Poor Man's Canyon, wasn't that just back at South Jersey Outsails Offshore Showdown?
Yep, we got the Baltimore Canyon, the Wilmington, the Spencer. We got the Carteret, Toms, Hendrickson, Hudson, Norfolk, Washington. We've got a little bit of everything. Those are the major canyons. 4,000 of 5,000 meters deep in some areas. Again, they're looking for those canyons, those drop-offs, those differences, just trying to find that little something special that might win them their share of over $10 million. It's the 50th White Marlin Open from Ocean City, Maryland.
SFC coverage of the White Marlin Open from Ocean City, Maryland is sponsored by Visit South Padre Island, Total Home Performance, Denison Yachting, and by Salt Life.
When it comes to performance, comfort, and functionality, we've got you covered. Performance apparel designed by anglers to make your time on the water better than ever. Salt Life, the official apparel sponsor of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
This summer, take a break with the family and visit the best beach in Texas. You're not building just a sandcastle. You're building memories. South Padre Island is the perfect place for fun in the sun. Book your summer getaway today. Visit SoPadre.com.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
Pine tar, bay rum, all natural.
It's time for your old soap to take a
hike with Dr. Squatch, the best natural men's soap, deodorant, shampoo, and so much more.
Dr. Squatch is for players like Justin Herbert, who are here to shake things up, who break records and hearts, who are tough on the outside and soft on the skin side, who only use natural performance enhancement and want their end zone to be fresh.
Go to drsquatch.com today. Feel like a man, smell like a champion.
Are you ready for the ultimate luxury fishing experience? Join the Sport Fishing Championship talent on the SFC Experience, where you'll explore incredible fisheries and enjoy world-class hospitality from diverse cultures and SFC partner locations. With the SFC Experience, you'll create unforgettable memories with friends, families, or colleagues. Book your trip today and embark on the adventure of a lifetime with the SFC Experience.
SFC coverage of the White Marlin Open from Ocean City, Maryland is sponsored by BioLite, Mercury Marine, Durabright, and by Hop Water, a non-alcoholic sparkling hopped water.
We like bringing it to you live at the 50th White Marlin Open. You're watching Mikey Fitzpatrick on Team Polarizer live, hooked up as we speak. And there's not much time in the day to fish, but if he's hooked up, all he's got to do is,
Yeah, you're right, Robbie. They got hooked up about 15 minutes ago. Lines are out at 3:30, so if you're hooked up before it's lines out, you can continue to fight that fish to completion, and you got a little extra time to come in typically. I'm not sure the exact rules on that, but that's most tournaments handle that procedure.
And this isn't one of those scenarios we saw earlier in the year where at Santo Domingo we were actually able to see these guys having to bring them in within a certain amount of time. Here, he's got as much time as he needs. He's got to get this fish up to the rod tip.
Yep. He's standing up in the back corner, Robbie. He's working that fish with a stand-up harness on. You can see he's got that kidney harness around his kidneys, and then obviously the fighting belt. He's strapped in, so you know it's a fish that's worthy of strapping in, and that's the kind of fish you want to be fighting in this event.
Now, we did see just a week ago when we were at South Padre Island some bigger rod and reel combos. I'm having really to winch some of those fish in. This is a perfect White Marlin setup.
Yeah, they're bumping ahead a little bit. You know, it looks like a stalemate. He hasn't taken a crank since we've been looking at him here. You know, I can't really tell what the fish is at this point, obviously, but I have a feeling it is a White Marlin.
I think we're going to check back in with Team Polarizer and to see if they can make the magic happen there. But we don't know what size fish it is. Is it one that they're going to be bringing in a little bit later at Harbor Island Marina for the weigh-in? But looking back through the years, look at the biggest, almost so close, 1980. This is almost a century mark on the poundage of that fish.
This is good music and good fishing. A 99-pound White Marlin is a giant. You know, typically you're catching 40, 50, 60, maybe the 70s, but that is a jumbo, and that is their all-time big one for the White Marlin Open. That's still standing for 50 years for Steve Bass.
Steve Bass with the big, and we look through the top 5 catches, or the biggest catches of the sport, or the White Marlin Open there. Brian, Brandon, Glenn, and Cheryl. Doesn't have to be a male. It can be a female. We've seen oftentimes a lot of ladies doing big damage here on Sport Fishing Championship.
There's something interesting about 2010. They also caught a grander blue marlin in 2010, and that is a giant fish. That is about a 25-year-old fish.
Now on day one, this is the kickoff. You can decide, and actually they have to say that we're not fishing. Everybody's expected to fish every day until they tell you they are not. But that morning, the rules of the game, this is what they have to deal with. 5 days of fishing, but there's only 3 days that you can fish.
That's right. You got 2 lay days. You pick the days, you pick the best weather, and that's a really good thing because in this particular tournament, day 2 of this event, it was blowing 60 to 80, and they had some incredible weather warnings to the point where we didn't even think we were going to make it here, be able to land.
Absolutely. I drove from North Carolina. Trees were blown down across the road. But look at that. The total boats launched almost the full field of 400, 383. We're seeing those are the boats that are out there right now. Yesterday, only 22 guys said, I'm going to give it a shot.
They braved it. They braved it out there. And today, look at that. We're back to 383 because it's a beautiful day. It's blowing. Feels like about 18, 20 right now. Not too bad. Not like it was the other day.
Now, why would you be one of those 22 teams that went out just to get away from everybody? I mean, it's a big difference. There's not 360 boats around you. Maybe they fought the weather. Maybe they could bring them in.
Maybe they have bigger boats. But we've got a live shot from Team Valentine right now.
Valentine, huh? You noticed a name that's on Valentine, right? Oh, SFC champion of champions last year, Maddie. He's on the Valentine this year.
That's right, Matty Valentine.
Is that going to be his
That's going to be it, Rob.
Let's go back to Team Valentine day 1. Look at them and see what they did.
Now, Robbie, you're starting to remember all this stuff. You put that tip low, push that drag up, and lock it up, and he's tight, still in gear, waiting for that other bite.
Even though those are calmer conditions on that first day, you can see rolling a little bit out there.
Exactly, a little bit. That's fine. We got this. They got this. They're catching fish. Team Valentine. You got Shane Diggins as the angler. He's got his headset on, Robbie, like we've got our headsets on today. And you can see that fish jumping off in the distance. No white caps, looking beautiful.
Again, they can put their lines in at 8 o'clock. This was shortly thereafter and looking for the first big fish of the day or first white. Whites in the Sport Fishing Championship worth 125 points. Blue Marlin worth 350 points. Of course, you catch the first Blue Marlin of the tournament, an extra 100 bonus points.
Yeah, and those Blue Marlin have had a tendency to be rather large in this area. You know, when you're fishing those canyons, there's a lot of bait, and there's going to be a lot of predators. And when you have an ample food supply, you're going to get big and girthy like I did during COVID.
I knew it was coming sometime. And watch how these guys work together.
Mate's coming into the corner, getting ready to grab that leader. He's got it. Get one last jump out of that fish for the camera, right in that beautiful sunscape. Get the leader again. It's always nice to get that extra footage. You know, when you're in a tournament or you're on a TV show especially, you want to get those extra shots because that's what makes it just so mouth-watering, breathtaking, exciting, and exhilarating.
And that is a released fish in this tournament. You will see if they have some big ones, they bring it in because that's where the big money actually comes here, the local side of things. But for the Sport Fishing Championship, everything is concerned with catch as well as release, and that's worth 125 points for Valentine.
Look at that white marlin for them, and they have 375 with those 3 whites. You know, marlin, a blue marlin's worth 350 points, so they're beating a guy with 1 blue marlin with those 3 whites.
Valentine, a 64-foot Lightning based out of Fort Pierce. Captain Glenn Cameron putting them on the fish. A live shot of Team Valentine's. They go on day 1 and day 3.
You see that, Rob? You can see whoever the angler is there. Rod out to the left. Looks like he's trying to get his bait close to the teaser, close to the squid chain, whatever they may be using. He's trying to get in that water right up next to it. Trying for that bite.
Let's make our way back to the outside. When I say outside, they're limited to a 100-mile spot from that buoy here at Ocean City, so they can't go to 101. This is live right now, and Polarizer still hooked up. Still haven't seen what's on the other end of that line.
Well, what we'll notice here, Robbie, is as we saw earlier, we didn't see him take a single crank. And I'm saying that same thing again. It's nothing happened. It looks like a little bit of a stalemate, maybe like 1 crank here and there. But, you know, they're fishing in a great area. You know, Jim Motzko, the president of the White Marlin Open, was talking all about those different canyons. And some guys are only running about 40, 45 miles to 70 miles offshore, but those canyons are rich and bountiful. And you know for sure they're fishing right on top of a great spot because this is yet another fish for Team Polarizer. Mike Fitzpatrick is the angler on this one.
Mikey Fitz, and I'm also looking in the background. The last time we saw them finish second of the Sport Fishing Championship, didn't have anybody around them. It looks like nobody's around them once again, which would it'd be hard to believe because with 383 boats out there fishing today.
Let's take it back to day 1 on Team Polarizer. You see him backing down, that shot from the bridge. You got to love that shot. Nothing's in your way. Early morning, Robbie, 9:46, and you've got a white marlin airing it out there, blasting that white water. You can see currents out there. I saw some kind of disturbed water, so they're probably fishing a current edge, and that's usually where the bait's going to hang out, and then the marlin are going to be hanging by that area.
Kurt Von Seekum doing the damage on the 7th of August. A couple of white marlin, also that tuna that they had mentioned. Right size tuna is 54.5 pounds. Now here we're going to see some big eye. We haven't even talked about that. This is no big eye. This is a points paying fish with a white marlin, but there's some big eye here that could possibly knock off Taylor Sanford again. But again, he's got the biggest big eye of the tournament.
The biggest big eye.
Yeah, biggest big eye.
That's pretty big.
Of the SFC, that is.
Are big eyes big, Robbie?
Yeah, they are big, and they got big eyes.
I sure do. You know, the world record big eye. Well, how big was that fish again? Was it 500, 400 or 500
I think
pounds?
so. And the SFC, I mean, right now our leader's 245. Last year they caught a 247. So we may see that get booted this week.
Well, they got this marlin at the boat. They got him on the leader. Teaser hanging from the rigger. You know, they don't go too crazy when they have the white marlin on. They know they can get him on the leader and pop him off and get back to fishing as quickly as they caught it.
Does it look like more people on that boat today than we saw before? I think he brought in some reinforcements for the WMO. The White Marlin Open brings everybody.
About 5 guys in the pit. There's a 6th guy. Yeah, that looks like maybe 1 extra fella there.
Yeah. Looks more. We've seen George do various duties, but so far it looks like Kurt Von Seekum been doing all the work as far as the catches. Team T0, we've seen them several times, taking the victory at the Block Island event just a couple of weeks ago. We're looking live at T0.
That's right. They have a multitude of deployments that they use. They've got lures. They've got the ding'em. They've got, dead.
Ding'em?
It's called the ding'em. Or the ting'em. It's called the ting'em.
What is it?
It's a lure. It's kind of like a mold craft with a concave head with a couple hooks off the back, J hooks off the back. It's been producing well for them, but at the next moment you're going to see them pitch a mackerel. They're going to pitch a horse ballyhoo, and sometimes they're just using naked ballyhoo with little chin weights to just drag it through the zone, and they'll get those bites.
Day 1 at 10 o'clock hour. Team T0. This is the team in the Atlantic division of the Sport Fishing Championship. Finished 7th at the Oak Bluffs event and followed up with a victory at the Tri-State Canyon Shootout.
There's Tim Wills right there, and he laid some cool words on me last night. I said, Tim, I'm always trying to figure out what I should call it when a marlin comes up to eat the end of the squid chain with that dead bait on there with no hooks. And I said, it's juicy, it's oily, it gets a little mush in there. He said, we should call it, Peter? He said we should call it the elixir of the gods. Tim Wills, everybody. Tim Wills.
I thought that's what they said Woodford Reserve was.
Well, that's another. That's for humans.
After the show.
I'm not trying to eat dead value. So we've got a couple of different elixirs in play here. Choose your own. Pick your own.
I could have swore I saw that. That sounds like a Will Ferrell thing on Old School. T0, 70-foot Ricky Scarborough, Seth Laws, the captain, getting those points once again. I would love to see one of our SFC teams take this title. And when we talked about the road that those teams had to hoe to, try and catch up with Quantified, we knew if they needed to win at the White Marlin Open, you do that. I mean, your name's in the history books forever. That was a tough ask among 400 teams, but it's still possible.
That's right. Tian has done some amazing work there. We talked about his hook selection. We talked about some of that lighter wire hook, the size of the hook, and we talked about preferences, and he's a very detailed fellow, boy. I tell you what, we talked for 2 hours last night. He really knows what he's doing when it comes to rigging baits.
We're 169, right? Whoa. We're 169, correct? 169?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, Captain.
So we're in our first day of the White Marlin Open right now, and we just released our first White Marlin. The conditions at the moment are great. I mean, that's going to change here shortly. We're anticipating some really bad weather here for the rest of the White Marlin Open, so we're trying to take advantage of this good weather we have, and we're fishing more in the deep at the moment because we know in the next couple of days getting out here might be a little challenging. So that's what we're doing. We're taking advantage of this good weather we have, trying to find this clean blue water, and hopefully catch some more billfish here shortly.
That was a really good call by Seth, talking about that weather and playing the weather to his advantage. Getting some fish under their belt, laying out on that nasty day, and then getting back out there.
Well, they had a decision to make if you fish day 1, lay out day 2. You could either, fish 3 and 4 or 4 and 5. So it looks like they're fishing a day, backing off a day, fishing a day, backing off a day. Looking live at T0 right now.
You got to love these live shots, Robbie, because it gives you a chance to see exactly what's going on and how they're fishing. The speed at which they're traveling will determine what type of lure or dead baits that they're pulling. Obviously, we got the dredge going out. They're not going too fast when that happens.
Yeah, their day should be done right now. They're probably going to be reeling in and getting ready to make their run back. The White Marlin Open, this is the 50th annual. It's our first year to be partnered with them and our second year of the Sport Fishing Championship. But starting back in 1974, here's some of the bigs from the individual species. Almost a 300-pound, is that right? 300-pound.
That was back in 74. That was the OG year, I believe.
Yeah, and things have really grown since then. Look at that tuna. I mean, they're going to be catching tuna that are a couple of 100 pounds heavier than that one. Same thing with the mahi. I know last year they caught almost a 60-pound mahi. The wahoo, 51. That's a good-sized fish.
And they only had 57 boats that year. I say only because now we have 400. But I tell you, 57 boats back in 74 is a lot of boats and about 150 anglers.
Vince Sorensen back in 1974. You had those same pants and outfit, but you were getting your little, glamour shots taken back then. Your Olin Mills.
Now, if you rock that tonight, Robbie, here in Ocean City, you would do some damage. You'd break a lot of hearts in that members-only jacket and those beige suede shoes. I love it.
Look at that. They had barrels of the elixir of the gods there on each side. We're glad you're watching here live from the Sport Fishing Championship of the White Marlin Open, our partnership. boats and boats and boats and boats, and a lot of them will be coming in and heading to the weigh-in at Harbor Island Marina later on this afternoon and evening.
In Puerto Rico, we call ourselves Boricua. We are proud, passionate, and full of life. On our island, adventure finds you. Strangers aren't strangers for long. The size of the audience doesn't change the beauty of the music, and we celebrate every last ray of sun. Live Boricua.
Salt Life, the official sunglass partner of the Sport Fishing Championship.
Are you ready for the ultimate luxury fishing experience? Join the Sport Fishing Championship talent on the SFC Experience, where you'll explore incredible fisheries and enjoy world-class hospitality from diverse cultures and SFC partner locations. With the SFC Experience, you'll create unforgettable memories with friends, families, or colleagues. Book your trip today and embark on the adventure of a lifetime with the SFC Experience.
Every day on the water is a blank canvas. You can reach new waters and ride endless waves. So drop the hammer or the anchor and let adventure be your guide. Mercury engines are made for exploring. So are you. Go boldly.
Whether you like to ride the wind, find your secret cove, or reel them in. Plot your paradise with GPS Map Series from Garmin.
When you're serious, you are as excited to wake up for a 4 a.m. fishing trip as you were when you were a kid. It means winning 3 World Sailfish Championships. It means you know what you need and what you don't. Being serious means seeking out the ultimate fishing machine, which is what Peter Miller has found in the unmatched handling, speed, and comfort of an Invincible.
SFC coverage of the White Marlin Open from Ocean City, Maryland is sponsored by Garmin, Invincible Boats,
Barbecue Guys,
and by SFC Experience.
You know, I love me some bigs, Peter. That's a big right there. The largest marlin ever at the White Marlin Open, over 1,000 pounds. That's a grander.
That is a jumbo. I think it was 1,062. I can't see the screen there, but that is a big one.
That is huge. I've never seen anything quite that big. I've seen pictures like I'm seeing now. What would it be to just really cap off the 50th running of this White Marlin Open by catching a grander this week? That would be crazy.
It's no easy feat, but these are the top White Marlin.
Well, you think there's 1,062 White Marlin out there? Hey, it's okay. No, White Marlin Open. You had me second guessing.
I had 1,062 in 2009. 2010, we've got a 1010. Look at 89 with a 942. 2008, 932. A 985. These fish are eating well.
You just pulled a Robbie, didn't you? You got locked into the stats, and I'm like, even I know that. There ain't no White Marlin that big. Let's go back out on the water. Let's see what these guys
do. Let's take a change of pace here.
Hey, Rochambeau. All right, you do it. Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper,
I got
scissors.
a friend, Glenn Hyman, fishing on the Rochambeau, and we've got our camera crew with those guys. This is day one, 10:45 a.m. You can see they are working on their bait. That is a big hook there. That is definitely meant for a blue marlin. That is not a white marlin setup.
It's a big plier setup there. Captain Willie
Dredge
Zimmerman,
going over.
65-foot custom Carolina. Dan Parncutt, Doug Reynolds.
Looks like they're getting ready for their bite or getting bit. Let's see. They look like it could be tight back there.
They might have been looking for blue. Well, you know they're looking for whites, but they might have been prepared for blues. But I think they were able to lock in on day number 1 in the mid-morning time. Looks like Mike Wheaton, the angler, with the white marlin on the line.
On the Rochambeau. See the dredge coming in. We're going to shortly see. There it is. There's that white marlin, that calm water. You know, you can tell day 1 from day 2. That's for sure. Very different situation.
Lightweight fighting belt there, getting that boat in, backing up to it, closing that distance.
Yeah, you can typically use a little fighting belt or a rod cush on a white marlin. You're not going to have a ton of heat on those fish. You're using 50 to 60 pound fluoroleader. The drag's not too heavy, and you usually take a turn on them and get them as they're jumping. And you can make that turn, gather that line, and just get that release.
I like the peanut gallery up there at the top deck. Look at that. Come on, Mike. Let's go. Because at this point, right, you know if it's a big that you want to bring in, right? A big fish you can bring in, or if it's a small, we want to get this fish in as quick as we can so I can redeploy and go catch another one.
That's right. You can generally tell how big it is by those first few jumps, and definitely when it gets to the side of the boat. There's just something different about those fish. It's kind of like a large bass. You see big shoulders on it, bigger than you would normally see. They're a little bit longer, a little thicker, a little girthier, and that's the fish that they want for this tournament.
Then Mike Wheaton